All right, what's going on, everybody? Sorry, I'm running late. It is way past 3 o'clock, 3:04 on a Friday, though, so that's good news. Friday, June 26th, 2020. How's everybody doing today? Sorry, I'm running late. No excuse for it this time. I just lost track of time. Normally, the way that I govern my days these days is I only have like a handful of things on my calendar on any given day, and so I just set with Siri. Um, Hopefully, I just didn't set that off. My timers for the day, and I thought I had set a timer, but apparently I didn't. So sorry about that. I'm here now. And then when I got down here, I'm having problems with the microphone. The threading on the bottom of the microphone is like not working right. I need a tool to fix it. I don't have. I'm sure the tool exists here somewhere in this house, but I don't want to just start rummaging through stuff. And I need to find that tool to be able to kind of fix it. So the microphone setup is a little bit sub-ideal, but I think we'll be able to get through today. How's everybody doing today, though? Good to see everyone here. We've got Martha's here, Jody Runs, Frank LaHoulier, and Jeff Elliott, J. Mike Remy, Steve Weddy. Awesome. Reed Morris, Jazzy, Tab Hunter, Drake Holtree, Steve D76, Kiefer Vacation, KCA, Just Jesse, and Lewis Cameron. Lewis Cameron says, "Hey, Co from Boston, is this a new haircut?" You're the second person to ask me that. Marielle Van Oort, I don't know how to say her last name, and she's kind of teased me about how I say her name wrong. But Marielle also asked me a similar question about that today. And it's not a haircut. It's just I didn't wear a hat today. Normally, pretty much, I like live in a hat. I run in a hat. I take a shower. Not in a hat, but I take a shower, and then I put the hat back on. And today I didn't put a hat back on, so I kind of just try. Until then, like before now, my hair has been shorter, and so it wouldn't like kind of stay off to the side, and so it would just get in my face and bother me, and it drove me insane. So that's why I had all the time. But now the hair's getting a little bit longer, and also just in a rush, so I just kind of ran down here from upstairs, and here I am. So no hat today, but I still got the glasses on. See a lot of familiar faces in here, some new faces as well. So welcome everybody. In case you guys are new, this is kind of like a radio call-in show, but without the radio or calling in. We'll just hang out and we're chatting. So if you got a question or a comment, feel free to add one. Drake Holtree says, "Happy Friday from Dallas." Drake, awesome. Thanks for saying happy Friday to everybody, and hope you guys are doing okay in Dallas. For those of you who are not aware, I'm sure most of you are, but the U.S. is taking a little bit of a turn for the worse in terms of its coronavirus stuff that's happening. So cases are spiking all over the place in lots of different places. So far, I think here we're staying relatively stable in Iowa. But I mean, it's just disheartening to see that it's happening in other parts of the country, and it saddens me to think that there could be people that are suffering out there. So my thoughts go out to them, and I hope that you guys are safe where you guys are. Tab Hunter is here from the UK. Awesome. Jazzy's here from Montreal, Canada, a country that does not allow Americans to cross into the border at this moment. By the way. Reed Moore says, "Happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone had a great run today or has a great run coming up." Great sentiments. I got a good run in today, and I was very lucky. Overnight, I was gonna try and sleep in a little bit this morning because I knew like the weather forecasts were going to be a little bit iffy. So I figured, you know what, if I wake up and it's raining, I'll sleep. If I wake up and it's not raining, I'll get up. And so I was trying to go with that plan. It was raining, and I thought, okay, well, I'll sleep a little bit more. But then what ended up happening was that we had really big thunder. And the thunder was so loud that it shook the house. And so that woke me up. And then I was able to fall back asleep, but then it freaked the dog out, and the dog started barking. And I didn't want the dog to wake up the rest of the family, so I went downstairs and he sleeps in his crate, and it's in the living room, and then so I slept on the couch for a couple hours so that the dog wouldn't freak out. But that kind of threw a wrench in my sleep. But then when it came time, I did some video editing and then did some work, and then I figured I'd go for a run because it looked sunny out, and it looked like I was getting sunnier. And fortunately, I was able to avoid rain and also thunderstorms. But there were a couple of very loud blasts of thunder. And the area that I run, there's bluffs, so sometimes there's valleys or hills, sometimes I'm on ridges. And where I was on an open, like kind of like the hill goes up and then it's like a big wide open plain. And you could see for miles, and also the sound of the thunder just rolled all the way over the plain. And it was behind me, so I didn't see the lightning, but I felt and heard the thunder, and it was kind of like, it was like pushed behind me. It like pushed me as I went. It was so loud. I could feel the sound. It was amazing. That got me really scared. And then right around when that happened, there was like an electrician's truck, like the kind that work on power lines, the bucket trucks. And there was a guy that drove by me and then slowed down and stopped, like right in front of me. And I was like, oh, this guy's here to like rescue me. Because maybe he came from back there where the storm's coming from and it's real bad. So I was getting ready to stop. But instead he just got out and like waved hi, got something out of the back of his truck and was like working. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm still running then. So I kept running. And fortunately though, I was able to see his truck wasn't wet. So from where he had come from. So I wasn't too worried. But then as soon as that happened, I saw like in front of me, there was lightning. So I saw the lightning that time. And I got real scared because I run with a selfie stick, a giant metal pole. So I was nervous. But I was able to make it back in time with about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to spare. Because as soon as I stopped at the house, took a minute to catch my breath afterwards, and just kind of looked up at the sky, and then saw one more bolt of lightning, and then it poured. So perfect timing. I'm glad I went for a little bit of a shorter run than I was originally planning for the day, but it worked out well. So just barely escaped, but much closer than I'd like it to be. So that was my Friday morning. Steve Whitey says, hi everyone, happy Friday indeed. Hands up who wants a speed. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I just really like it. I mean, the video came out today. I think some of you had a chance to see it. But it just suits me well. It might be the racing shoe made for the masses kind of thing. So I normally don't think of shoes in that way, but I mean, this one, I mean, I'm starting to like, in terms of carbon fiber plate shoes, the first step of my understanding was, all right, well, maybe not all shoes, like some people, like Steph Bruce, can run in the carbon rockets for a marathon. I tried it. I really can't. So I was thinking, all right, so some foams and some stack heights are not for average runners. Now I'm thinking some carbon fiber plates may not be for every runner. And there might be other things that are optimal for normal runners. And so this speed has got me starting to think and got me curious in that regard. So it'll be interesting to see what I think about the shoe, especially when I start stacking it up against like the Fuel Cell TC. Someone asked for a comparison against the Hyperion Tempo. I think those are all great shoes to kind of compare it against, and I think it's going to be exciting. Jesse's coming in from SoCal. Lewis Cameron coming in from Boston. Brian Kerr from Carlisle. Awesome. Ancient Runner says hello from beautiful BC. Awesome. Gavin Braden says, what's up, everyone? Happy Friday from warm Portrush, Northern Ireland. Very cool. Very cool. I don't think we've had anyone from Portrush before, so that's cool. MC17 says, hair's looking good, Kofuzi. Thanks. My mom's here. Very cool. Martha says, where did that go? I just had it. Well, I'm really behind on comments. Martha says, love your hair. Mine's growing horizontally, and I've cut it 3 times myself to no avail. That's so funny. Sounds crackling, Link 130 boy says. All right, let me take care of that. Usually when that happens, that means I'm peaking. And so I'll turn down some of my levels. I usually ends up being like too quiet, and so everyone has to crank up their sound, or it does this like crackling sound. So sorry. Static, mic is fuzzy. Okay. All right. So hopefully that'll fix it. It looks like it's getting better, but sorry about that, guys, if that's the case. All right. All right. Jeff Elliott says he got x-rays and doesn't have a stress fracture. It seems to be a tendon issue, so ice, ibuprofen, and rest are the solution. Well, that's good news that it's not something more serious. David H. says, hey, everybody, from Los Angeles. Looking forward to a long run this weekend. Very cool, very cool. Hopefully the weather's good for you guys. All right. Bert Leguest says, today I did a 35K trail in the heat to test my hydration equipment for my solo 50K run. Dragged along 4 liters of fluids, half sports drinks, half water. 4 liters, that's a lot of fluid. How was it? Frank LaHoulier says, do you think that will put off reopening the courts? It may. It may, in terms of the spikes in some of the numbers that we're seeing. Illinois and Chicago in particular have been very cautious. Chicago has been voluntarily delaying itself to, in comparison to what the state is permitting, and so I think that Illinois just went into phase 4 out of their phase plan, which allows groups of up to 50 as long as the room stays below 25% capacity. I don't think that's enough to really open up a courtroom for a jury trial, but it may open it up for things like bench trials, routine motion calls, things like that. But some of those rooms get real busy and real full. So they're going to have to really spread it around, and then in terms of scheduling throughout the day. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it will delay it just because if they're seeing okay, places started opening up and things got crazy, they're going to probably slow down their attempts at it. I'm expecting a new announcement at any moment now, or at least sometime in the next couple of days, from the chief judge of the Cook County system in terms of when the courts are scheduled to reopen. If I recall correctly, the last word was that they're going to be closed until after the 4th of July holiday, and then update to follow. So we'll see what happens. JC said, had tomorrow's local club race canceled with Texas numbers going the wrong direction. Yeah, crazy things in Texas and in Florida with even bars not serving alcohol anymore. I mean, that's a bummer. It's a real bummer. I'm sorry to hear that that's happening. Richard Sung says, hey, dude, I really want to get into running and I've been loving your content. Any tips before starting? Well, thanks, Richard. I would say any tips before starting? Well, my general tips are run today so you can run tomorrow. The idea being don't overdo it on any one day, especially when you're starting up. You want to feel, it's really tempting, especially after the first couple of days or even the first couple of weeks. You're starting to get into a rhythm, you're feeling good, and you think, all right, I'm going to really push it today, see what I got. And then you push too hard, and then things are too sore, and so you take another rest day, and maybe a second rest day, maybe a third, and then all of a sudden you kind of lost the momentum. So I would say, slow and steady is a really great way to start. A lot of people recommend run walking. Focus on time out on feet rather than distance. Go out for 15 minutes and then come back, in an out and back route. And do it that way so you can slowly and gradually build up. But other than that, stop planning on starting and just start. That's the other thing I would say. You don't need a whole bunch of stuff to start. Just get out there and good luck. Mark Raphael says, Yo, Kofuzi, hi from St. Louis. Are you planning to post a 100-mile review of the PEG 37? Yes. I think that will come it should come in the next week. So I'm at about 75 miles right now. So 2 more runs. I should be there. Jackie Mai says, long run weekend. If you're in the South, be ready to take in a nice load of dust. Oh, that's what I hear. I've been seeing about this giant dust plume coming in from the Sahara. That's crazy. That just seems like butterfly effect, right? Something happening from halfway around the world. Yeah. Ines Dunbar says, what Kofuzi doesn't know is that we were all sitting at home with fake mustaches pretending to do shoe reviews. That girl has a sense of humor. I think talking about my daughter yesterday, photobombing the live stream yesterday. She was participating. She was sitting here on camera too, but I think she was, she's at the age where kids, and I guess adults do too. Think about how many selfies adults take, but we enjoy seeing images of ourselves. And so she was playing around. She had made a clay mustache. And so she's been wearing it around. She just holds it to her face, and it's pretty funny. Lorenzo Celiento says, hey man, I have a question. Have you ever tried to do a race on the track? Track and field, I am from Italy, by the way. Well, awesome, Lorenzo. Thanks for writing in. Yeah, I've done many races on the track before when I was much younger. In junior high school, that would put me at 11 or 12 years old is when I started doing some races on the track, up through high school and into college a little bit. and I did a variety of different track events from everything from the 110 hurdles to the 1 mile. I've done pretty much all of the events that were available to me in my state in New Jersey. I've tried pretty much all of them at least once, and I was bad at most of them, and there were a handful that I found some modicum of success in, and I kind of like gravitated towards those. But yeah, I've done lots of races on the track, and it's a fun way. It's a fun way to race. I love track surfaces. They're just so fun. Like they're speedy, they're spongy, they're springy. Lots of fun. But I haven't done any races on a track recently. I mean, I've had some races where like they end on a track, and so you have like a 10K, and then when it ends, you come back to the start and you do a lap around the track, and then you finish, like that kind of thing. But I am very interested once like kind of things like start to resume or normalcy returns to some extent. I am pursuing a career as a master's steeplechaser. Or like masters being like 40 years or older steeplechaser. So that will be on track. So I hope to do that at some point. I mean, that's like me at this point, it's like a bucket list kind of thing. I want to be able to compete in a steeplechase. And if I do, it's highly likely that I would in 2-inch shorts. Lars Ivar Henriksen says, hi from a new YouTuber in Denmark. Can't wait to try out the speed, so jealous. My Saucony guy told me it doesn't launch until August here in Scandinavia. Oh, that's a disappointment because it is a lot of fun. And it technically doesn't even release in the US until July 1st. But someone on someone on Twitter, actually it was someone from the live stream, who then followed up with me on Twitter that told me, hey, go check out eastbay.com. They're selling it now. I think they're sold out, but they were selling it before they were supposed to. And so, yeah, so that's how I got that one. That's only happened to me one other time before, and it was with the Vomero 14. And so I got the Vomero 14, like, and was able to post videos about it like a month before a lot of other people were, because I think it was Running Warehouse. I think it was Running Warehouse that accidentally like posted it too soon. So like I just got I had someone clue me in from the live stream here that there was a place that just didn't realize what they were doing. Let's see. David H. Enjoyed that collaboration with Ed Bud on the Nova Blast yesterday. Well, thanks, David. I had a lot of fun with that one too. I like working with Ed, and that was fun. You know, I thought like also, though, like we agreed in a large extent on this one, and that's fun because then we could talk more about like, all right, we agree on a lot of stuff. Let's talk about like bigger picture. So that was fun too. But it's also fun like the last one we did with the Ultra Boost where we disagreed quite a bit. That's also fun as well. So I kind of like it both ways. Martha says tourists are here now and almost none of them are wearing masks, and Martha's in Colorado. Is driving locals crazy? And sure enough, there has been a big spike in cases. Oh, that's such a bummer. It's such a bummer. Oh man, that's disappointing to hear. Drake Hultree says, my wife is joining me for the Kofuzi Run Club for the first time. Everyone say hello to Morgan. Well, hey Morgan, glad to have you here. Welcome. It's a pretty fun group. So I hope you have a good time. Very cool. Let's see. Yeah, Luis Becerra says, Kofuzi, did you see the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro? They look fire. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I was a bit distracted with I had both of the girls with me. But I didn't realize it at the time of the video that there is an Adizero Pro and an Adizero Adios Pro, which is understandably very confusing. Adidas has a very confusing naming system all the time. And they have various like sub SKUs, like in terms of like SKU. So like it's always confusing in terms of what they're offering. I thought the Adizero Pro was their marathon racing super shoe, and I was super excited to run in it. And then I got one, and then also before I got a chance to run it, then I heard about this shoe. So it looks interesting, and I probably will try and get one. I did try to get one. So there's a drawing for them that you can sign up for on the Adidas app, and the drawing will be June 30th, at least in the US. So hopefully I get one. We'll see. I'm not like holding my breath for it that I'll get the raffle, but and the raffle isn't that you win anything. The raffle just gives you the opportunity to pay a lot of money to buy the shoe. But we'll see. Hopefully I can get my hands on a pair. But if I don't, I'm actually okay with because I've been looking forward to the Adizero Pro so long, and I've only just now heard of this Adizero Adios Pro now. I'm like, huh, if it takes me a while to get it, I'll get to it eventually. It's kind of how I am on that one. Let's see. Reed Moore says, have you had a chance to read up on the Adidas Adios Pro? Tech looks weird. Very curious how Lightstrike Pro will compare to the normal Lightstrike foam. Yeah, I did look at it a little bit just to see what those like weird rods are. Um, it looks strange to me. It seems to be like closer to in terms of those because there's rods. There's like 4 rods that are supposed to line up underneath the toes, and the way that they're describing it just makes it sound to me like it's gonna really hurt. I know it won't, but I'm worried that it will, and I don't know. It seems weird. I'm not sure. And then it seems like there's carbon in the heel. There's something in the heel that they're not labeling in the photos. I'm not sure what it is or what the purpose is. So like, I don't know. Well, I'll have to run it and see. So, Bert Lagas says, I often hear Thunderstruck during my runs. I listen to AC/DC. That's a good running song. It's definitely a good running song. Bridgemaster X says, where did that go? Sometimes when I get to a comment, it then just jumps up the screen and I don't see it. All right, Luis Becerra says sound is low, Kofuzi. All right, I'm gonna try to bump it back up. Hopefully we don't get any of the clipping again. You guys will have to let me know if you hear like a lot of the buzzing or clipping sounds. Let's see. MC1796 says, where were you from in New Jersey, Kofuzi? We moved around a lot when I was growing up. We spent most of our time in central Jersey, like right around Rutgers. And then a big part of the time we were down by the Jersey Shore in Monmouth County. So I went to high school for part of my time in Monmouth Regional High School in Tinton Falls. And then I graduated from high school on the west side of the state, bordering Pennsylvania. North Hunterdon County was the school that I went to. My little town was called Quakertown, but the closer, bigger town was Clinton, New Jersey, which was close to, it was basically borders the highway that goes from like New York to kind of like, if you were in the New York area and going to Hershey Park, Pennsylvania, you passed right by where I lived. So that's where I'm from. But most of my family now, well, my parents now are in New Jersey. They live in Fort Lee. So like, after I graduated from high school, my family moved to like Bergen County area by all the other Koreans, and they've kind of stayed there since. Martha says, my coach has his eyes on masters, short, mid distance racing for me too. You're a baby master. I'll be a geezer master. Are there distinctions like that? I wonder. But yeah, I mean, I'm just barely in the masters division, I think, because like, and I really wish that they would redefine masters, because masters at 40 just doesn't seem right. Because it would seem weird for me to like go and be like, I'm going to a masters meet next week, you know, like it just, I don't see myself that way, you know, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird kind of like naming system. Mark Chancoco says, I'm basing my purchase of the Endorphin Speed on your review. Oh, well, whenever people tell me that, it's still, to this day, still makes me nervous. But I stand behind that one. It's a good shoe. I mean, I've only run it the one time. And I try to emphasize that whenever I make the first run videos. But I did thoroughly enjoy it. Bert Leguest says, each steeplechaser wears swimming pants underneath the 2-inch shorts for when they land face first in the pool after the hurdle. All right. Let's see. Lewis Cameron says, just found out that my coach's race is the steeple. He did it in college. Was happy to know that he was what he was talking about thanks to Yuko. Awesome. That's so funny. Thomas Gregan says, awesome job on the Endorphin Speed. Really want to try them now. Well, thanks. It was exciting. Esteban Gonzalez says, am I the only one that had so many issues with Eastbay? Worst client service. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, Eastbay is a company that I've been ordering from since the 90s, back when they were just like a mail order catalog company. Every month, the 2 catalogs that I would get in the mail were, I don't know that Eastbay was monthly. I think Eastbay was like seasonal, like each season, like in the fall season to coincide with sports, like sports in school. So like you're like the fall, winter, and then spring. but the two catalogs that I used to always get were Crutchfield and East Bay. So those were the two. All right. Oh no, sound is so low. It's fine now before you fiddled with it. All right, still low. I'm gonna try cranking it up a little bit more and see where we're at. Okay. All right, so let's try that. I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay, my daughter's here. Let's see. Mark Chankoko says, I'm hoping that the Adios Pro is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what I've been waiting for them to do, is to finally put... do you want a chair? Okay, you want this big one? Is to finally put like together a shoe that like normal people can race a marathon in. I mean, the Boston 9 I think is their closest, but I would love for them to be able to, like, you know, take the Adios and just put a bunch of squishy foam on the bottom with something propulsive to make sure I don't get too mushed down in it. So we'll see. All right, what else we got here? Yazdan Tim says, hey buddy, have Nike fixed the winglet issue found on turbos this year, or is it still the same this year too? I'm not sure what's going on with the turbo this year. I haven't seen any pictures. Someone's been showing me that I think it is East Bay has a release of July 2nd, I think, for men's and women's turbo Nexts. So I haven't seen any photos of it yet. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. I have no idea. Let's see. Thomas Regan says, what do you think about Adidas putting carbon plate in the heel? Yeah, I'm confused about it. I'm not sure I understand it quite so much. Unless it's like the idea being like, as you're tired, you know, you go from like stepping only on your toes to maybe doing more heel toe, that when you hit the heel, the carbon pushes you off there. But it doesn't look like it's shaped to do that. I'm just not sure. Maybe it's a way of dispersing some of the impact. So if it's a really squishy foam, it's a little bit more stable. So like a torsional stability. I don't know. I'm just really confused about it. All right. Let's see. Logan Bishop says, have you heard of the New Balance 1500 T2 BOA? Interesting looking shoe with the BOA or BOA lacing. I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, sorry. J. Mike Remy says, has anyone tried the Adizero Sub 2? That shoe is amazing, and I really hope the Adizero Pro is an evolution. You know, I never tried the Sub 2. I thought it was like a weird, Me Too shoe that they made. But it was, I feel like it was the first Boost shoe that I ever saw that they were able to actually color some of the Boost, because it was speckled in terms of the midsole. The upper was beautiful and super minimal. The only person that I know that's running it is Jamie. But other than that, and I guess J. Mike Remy running it too. But yeah, it's one that I never got to try myself. Mark Chankoko said they should have called the Adizero Adios Pro a Yeezy, then everyone would have bought it. I saw news today saying that Yeezy is going to bring, or Kanye is bringing the Yeezy brand to Gap. Everything except the shoes. The shoes are still going to stay separate, but like Yeezy clothes are coming to the Gap. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't check the source on that. But that would be kind of, that's very weird and not Gap-y. But I think Gap's in like serious trouble. And so, I mean, it might be time for them to like, you know, hey, let's break the mold, try something that's not like normal for us, because what's normal for them isn't seem to be working. So, all right. Jody Run says, Australian Airlines saying it'll be 12 months before international travel commences again. Whoa, that's crazy. I mean, that's hard from an island nation. So, like, how do people get there if they're not flying? But, oh, that's tough. But I did see that. Did I see that wrong? I thought Australia got the next World Cup, right? Is that right? In Australia, New Zealand? So, that'd be kind of cool to go watch. Mr. Random says, the release on Saucony website for the Speed and Shift is July 1st and drop in independent stores about a month later. That was what I was told today. Yeah, someone else was saying that they called their local running store and said that like they couldn't sell them to her until July 1st. So, Yeah, I think that we got everyone that bought them on East Bay got, or who was able to anyway, did get very lucky about it. All right. Frank Lahullier says Meta Racer got delayed until August today. Oh, that's a bummer. Why are they doing that? I just feel like if they wait any longer, they're not going to be able to. I mean, they're going to lose a lot of the buzz because my reviews are already out. Lots of people's reviews are already out. So I feel like if the distance between, or the time between, like when a lot of the videos start hitting and the release is too long, you kind of lose some of that bump in momentum. JRZSHR. North Hunter High School was quite a running powerhouse in New Jersey. I don't know what years you're talking about, but yeah, I mean that's the track team that I ran on. I was running there in the late 90s. So MC1796 says, haha, I live in Fort Lee. Just say New York City area because most people never know it. I think a lot of people do know Fort Lee though, because Fort Lee, or the mayor of Fort Lee, is the one that was embroiled in that scandal with the governor, where like the mayor didn't support the governor. What was his name again? He was a good guy he did well in the post Hurricane Sandy time, but then he started campaigning for Trump and he got real weird. But he also shut down like the George Washington Bridge as like retribution because the mayor wouldn't like endorse him or something like that. It was weird. So that's like another thing Fort Lee's known for. That and the fact that it's like 40% Korean. Let's see. Martha says, where'd that go? Oh, she's on hold with East Bay right now since 10 minutes before the live stream started, and she thinks it's probably just one person working from their house. Yeah, I mean that might be. Celeste Lee says, when are your beautiful girls going to lace up running shoes? Life will never be more enjoyable. Well, you ran in a race last summer. Do you remember that? You and your sister did. How long was yours? It was a 2-mile race, wasn't it? It was long, but she did great. We were running together, and I kept having to hold her back because she kept wanting to go faster. But I was like, it's a long race. It's a long race. And then at the end, I told her, all right, now's the time you can go. And then she took off, and then she caught so many people in that last stretch because you didn't go out too fast. You had good pacing, right? Mm-hmm. Did you like that? Mm-hmm. Do you want to do more racing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to do more racing too. I don't know when races will come back. That's a thing. But yeah, she likes running. The baby ran, and the baby was young enough that she could run with my wife. So like it was like a parent and me kind of race for the younger ones. And so she ran, I think, 1 kilometer, and she ran the whole time. So I think that's pretty good for her. She was 3 at the time, I think, or 2 going on 3. So I felt like that's pretty good for her. So yeah, they like it. They like it. But we'll see. We'll see when they want to start racing. Yeah, Martha says, 40 seems incredibly young to me for masters, considering runners' peak in strength in the previous decade. Yeah, ridiculous to me too. I think they might have to change it. I think so. Especially as like runners are starting running later in life and then are able to run with better longevity than they have been previously. I think that definition is going to need to change. It's going to be like a BAA adjustment where like 1 year they're going to be like, all right, now the master's age is 50. And even then, like by the time then I get to 50, people are like 50 is 50's too young for masters. So I don't know. We'll see. Ujan Singh Gupta says, can you please tell us about running related injuries? I'm training for a full marathon and I have patellar tendonitis. Will a month's rest affect my prior training? I'm afraid I've never had patellar tendonitis, so I don't know. And will a month's rest affect my prior training? It will and it won't. So like it depends on when your marathon is, in terms of when you take that month of time off. Timing is really important. But when I think about marathons, I also think about lifetime miles. And so one of the big revelations that I had in terms of improving my marathon time was that it's not just about any one training block. That training block exists in light of the other training blocks you've already done before. And so like if you've trained a lot before, but then got injured and had to take some time off, don't rush yourself back from injury. You're probably only going to delay your return. You're probably going to delay your return to running. the fitness that you built is there. It might take a little bit of time to get back to that level, but you'll get there. All right. Shannon says, I'm 37 and the term masters terrifies me. I mean, I'm 12 mentally. Shannon, I'm right there with you. I feel like I'm still just a kid. I mean, I feel like I'm not that different from her. That's probably why we get along so well, right? Yeah. Mark Chancoco says, that's hilarious in terms of East Bay, or maybe he's talking about Crutchfield. He said, I used to look forward to that catalog. Yeah. All right, Jody Run says, sounds good now, don't touch a thing. I won't. You know what I normally do is I normally take a picture of the settings so that way I can, if I ever accidentally touch the knobs, I can leave it there. And then today I tried a different mic setup for the audio of the video, for the endorphin speed. And so I had to tweak a lot of the settings because the mic would be in a different place. So that's why there's issues today. But I'll take a photo of this, make sure it doesn't move. Oh, I got a phone call coming in, sorry. All right. Bub Tub says, a true master wears Bondis and gets swollen ankles like me. That's funny. Maura Drennan's coming in from Scotland and says, good evening. Well, good evening to you, Maura. All right. Maura Drennan says, have you ever tried the sandals worn by the Tower of Mara? I have not. But I've seen people run in those kinds of sandals before. Not exactly like the kind that they might wear, but there's other brands of sandals that are out there where like it's basically a strip of leather or something with some sort of string in it. I see what you're doing. Because I could see it right here in this on the camera. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's like a strip of like some sort of like leather type of strap, and it like weaves through almost like a thong sandal, right around your toes and then around your ankle and stuff. I've seen those. There's a guy that I've run with before in Chicago. He runs along the lakefront, and he runs barefoot a lot of the year, or in those kinds of sandals like in the winter because there's like salt and ice. I'm not sure that's for me, but I've seen them before. Yazdan Tim says, thank you, buddy. Just got a pair of Peg Turbo Shield. Not sure, though, if it was the right decision. Since you mentioned new ones might be dropping soon, and your driver's super cute. Thanks. Yeah, the Peg Turbo Shield was a fun shoe that I just didn't get a chance to run in very much. It was very weird, very different. There was a lot of people, that shoe, I think most of the comments I got on that shoe, that Peg Shield, Turbo Shield, were from people from tropical climates because they were thinking it looks like a waterproof shoe. But I was like, that's going to be too hot to run in. So at least in like really like tropical climate. So that was something that like was a surprise to me. Louis Sarah says, who is waiting for a daughter to make funny faces? All right. They like your funny faces. All right. Well, don't encourage her maybe too much, everybody. Mary McCabe says, hello from the UK. Awesome. How's it going? My cows said, where would that go? It just moved. My cow says, remember how much time has passed since the comment was made fixing audio issues, and the problem might not be there anymore. Okay. All right. Sorry. Jody Run says, yes, Women's World Cup, and they're going to be in Australia and New Zealand in 2023. Very cool. Dan Mora says about carbon in the heel for the Adizero Adios Pro, not the Adizero Pro. Not the Adizero Pro. It's supposed to be there for stability. I suppose carbon fiber is supposed to be very rigid and very light, so that's one thing it could be. I don't know. It's just, we'll have to see. Kevin Johnson said, why did you retire the Ultra Escalante? I retired them because I got to 100 miles in them, and then for a lot of shoes, once I get to 100 miles, that's when like I will donate them to charity. So nothing wrong with them. I actually really enjoyed that shoe. One of the surprises for this year for me, for sure. But it's time to get to something else. All right. You got a shoe? Mm-hmm. All right. Do you know what shoe that is? Mm-mm. It's from Asics. It's a good one. All right. Shannon says, I love that your girls love to run. My daughter is 4, and I wish I could find a short, fun run race for her. Yeah, the ones that we found were like, they weren't really publicized through like normal like running, like not I want to say channels, but like the running like ways you would find out about races. We found out about them because we're on like some mailing lists for like allergy awareness events or like just parenting in Chicago kind of thing. And so like somehow on one of those newsletter or like mass email lists that we're on, we got an email from this race organizer that does it. So not very well publicized, but had a decent turnout. There were like probably about 100 kids running, so it's good. Steve Ehrenberg says he ran through Wrigleyville yesterday, jammed bars, and it's worrisome. Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing. I mean, we left right as bars were opening, or as like certain things were starting to open up again, and I remember people telling me that like predictably, Wrigleyville was a mess. Dennis888 says, have you considered running in other countries' event? Yes, I have. I would love to. And hopefully once like maybe there's a vaccine and travel is a little bit more safe, then that's something that I would like to do much more of. Kevin Johnson says, you need to include her in your regular videos. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, once she gets old enough to have, maybe some big kids running shoes, I mean, you have running shoes now, but once you have some bigger kid running shoes, maybe you could tell people about it if you want. But what's fun is like we did make a video. She had a school project where she had to make like a model, and so I gave it like the Kofuzi B-roll treatment, and then I put it to music. So it's pretty funny. So yeah, I definitely did that for her. So she had a fun time making that model and stuff. She's really good at that kind of thing. Blaine Masterson says, give me some much needed words of inspiration before I head out on my double, please. All right. Well, go get after it. I don't know how inspirational that is, but I think it's awesome that you are able to run a double. So go out and get it. What's better than a good run? There are not a lot of good things in my mind. Steve Wythe says, all the kids doing junior park run 2K start too fast like it's a 100-meter sprint. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened at the event that she did as well, where all the kids like started racing at the beginning like it was a sprint to the other side of a basketball court, and then there were a lot of them were walking, but we didn't do any walking. Did we when we did our race? Mm-mm. I don't think we did, yeah. Uh-oh, noises again. Oh, boy. All right, we might have to cut it short because we're having some technical difficulties, and that's usually just a good sign to end. But let's get a couple more comments in if we can. Let's see. Jeremy Lewis says, just got a pair of Pegasus Turbo Gakuso version for a steal on Nike. Awesome. Not sure how I feel about the laces. How'd they work for you? If they're the speed laces, the one with the little like clasp on it, they were fine for me. I actually kind of like that way of tying shoes because it's just easier for me to get in and out of. I don't have a preference for them, but I don't mind them either. And they didn't create any problems for me. So hopefully they work out for you. Timothy Betts says, not sure about non-US, but I ordered the Speed from Fleet Feet, had all sizes and already shipped. Oh, interesting. Hey, don't do that. You're going to lock the phone. I think she knows my password. So, let's see. Burliga says, I love socks in my sandals, especially white sports socks or goat wool socks. What? Oh, that's weird. Yazdan Tim says, well, the summer is just starting here in the EU, so let's see how I'd feel walking and running in the Peg Turbo Shield at 100 degrees. That's going to be hot. It's going to be real hot. I hope it's not, but I feel like it will be. Bert is insisting that goat wool socks with sandals is not a fashion statement. It's a political statement in Belgium. Yeah, I don't understand that, but it's funny. J. Mike Remy says, would love the Kofuzi treatment for my next data presentation. That'd be funny. Yeah, I even put music to her model. So that was like, not like music. It wasn't like loud and obnoxious, but there was definitely like music in the background. So it was pretty funny. A. Gordon says, Brooks Hyperion Tempo versus Saucony Endorphin Speed Shift. I think it will match up closer to the speed. and that's something that I'm looking forward to doing. So that'll be coming up. Those are very different shoes, but I think they kind of fit into the same use case. So we'll see how they go. Like one is very like, I don't want to say maximal minimal, but one is like a ton of technology, and the other one is just like a really good foam. So like we'll see how they shake out. Kevin Johnson asks, do y'all have any plans for the 4th? Our plans, I don't know. I think that some of the areas around here might be lighting off fireworks, but like they have fireworks, but they say don't come too close. So like the events are technically canceled, but they might still shoot some off. So we might like be at my in-laws out on their deck and see what we could see from their house, kind of thing. Will W says, what are your thoughts on the Saucony Kinvaras, especially the older ones, 7 specifically? The new Ride 13s look pretty sweet. I've only run in a couple of Kinvara. I ran in the Kinvara 9, so I don't have experience in the 7, but I ran into the 9, and I like that shoe. It was a very fast shoe, but it did have that like hint of stability that was in there that Saucony puts in a lot of their shoes, and so it was hard for me to run in a lot, but I loved it like on the track. I thought it was great there. I loved it for like short speed stuff. I would use it in the same way that I would use like a Nike Pegasus Turbo. Bert is explaining at the computer science department at his university, sandals with socks are a wannabe intellectual statement. And Martha says about kids that start too fast, like it's 100 meters, and then burn out. She says, don't we all start races way too fast until we learn better? Yeah, I mean, I still do that. I mean, I talk about it like I don't, but I definitely do. Oh, all right. CJ Cruz is here. Good to see you, CJ. Awesome. Let's see. Albert A. And maybe we'll end with this one. Can you share your view on recovery runs? There seem to be 2 schools of thought, e.g. useless or effective. I think that they're extremely effective. I think that if you think of it as like active recovery or like recovery where like you're moving, like almost like PT or rehab for an injury, but on a kind of that concept, but you're taking it to your muscles during a time when you're not injured or hurt, but when you're recovering. And so it allows you to get those muscles moving, gets blood circulating so you can flush out anything that needs to be cleared from the area. But the other thing is, while you may be moving nice and easy and not really doing much for the musculoskeletal system, those easy runs are really important for your cardiovascular system as well. And so like there is still a workout that you're getting. Even if you're not like working out your legs. So I think that like there are multiple reasons why like recovery runs, and maybe that's like a misnomer or a misleading name, but that's why I think that recovery runs are pretty important. I mean, that's the main reason, at least that I can justify. I mean, I don't take a lot of rest days because I like running and I don't like resting. But it's another reason why I can kind of justify like not taking that many rest days and instead having active recovery days. Is because I think that there's lots of benefit to continue running rather than taking like a complete day off. A lot of you guys are also cross training, hitting the pool or hitting the bikes on those rest days, and I think it serves like a similar function where you're getting the body moving, flushing out bad stuff, out with the good, in with the new, out with the bad, in with the good kind of thing, and also getting a workout for that cardiac system. So I think I'm gonna leave it there for now. Sorry guys about the audio difficulties and for being late. Oh, that's 2 strikes for me today. Sorry about that. But hopefully we'll get that all resolved for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have no video for tomorrow probably. Maybe there'll be a video tomorrow. But we'll definitely have a live stream no matter what tomorrow, Saturday, 3 p.m. or same time as today, 3 p.m. Central Time here in Guttenberg, Iowa. So we'll be back and I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody.